Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for another very special edition of WOWSA Live with a very special family. And I'd like you both to introduce yourselves. Go ahead, Darcie and Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin Rivard. I'm Vera's dad.
And I'm Darcie. I'm Vera's mom.
Yeah, and then we have Vera and Margaret. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Vera Rivard.
Great, great. And where are you calling in from?
So we're calling in from Springfield, New Hampshire.
Springfield, New Hampshire. And you just got back from England, correct?
Yes.
The three girls did. Unfortunately, Kevin couldn't go because of the quarantine restrictions. But
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, anyway, I wanted to ask mom and dad. I mean, your daughters are so accomplished, and they've been all over, certainly all over the Northeast Kingdom, and now the English Channel. But what do you do to support them and nurture this ambition that they have?
So, well, this is I'm definitely there to lug all the kayaks and equipment. This is sometimes paddler, depending on what the situation needs. This is both girls definitely need to have a kayaker with them, so this is we definitely trade off with that.
Yeah.
we kind of let them lead how long the swims they want to train for. We just want to make sure it's fun.
Yeah. And do you sit down as a family and say, oh, next year I want to do the English Channel, or next year I want to swim Manhattan, or next year I'm going to do, across Memphremagog again? Do you set it out, or is it just sort of, let's go to England this month?
We've definitely we planned in England for 2 years.
Okay.
We had a lot of fundraising. So it's kind of, that kind of drives it. Like, what are we going to do as a family this year?
Uh-huh.
And also the opportunities that as they're presenting themselves, really, we're trying to figure them out as we go. We don't have like some big plan.
Yeah. Got it.
I feel as though that the girls have each kind of a bucket list of these swims that they really want to do. This is they've been so inspired by this, the people that they've met.
Yeah.
And every time we go to a different event, they're like, oh, I've done this swim. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I could do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And your daughters are both much younger than the competitors and other people they see, from court distance week to Phil White's events. Do you see that as an advantage, a disadvantage?
I think it's been a huge advantage because the community is so open, and they give a lot of advice, and it's awesome that the girls really, nobody in the family knew anything about this, and so everybody's been really giving, and the information's flowed, and we've just been so lucky kind of bumping into the right people.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have definitely kind of taken us under their wing.
Yeah.
And any questions that we have, and it's such a great community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the kids are little, they have taken direction well, I guess, because they're used to being told what to do by adults, I think.
Yeah. And where and what age did they start swimming?
So they definitely started very young. This is right from the very beginning. This is 6 months old, mom and me classes. Darcie was in the water with them.
Oh, okay.
And we did that because we live on a small lake, and we just wanted them to be water safe.
Got it.
And so we just got in, and I really enjoy swimming. I'm not very good at it, but I really enjoy it. So we just did it to kind of float around, and I just wanted them to be safe. And so it all kind of stemmed from that. And then, as they got older, we, Vera started saying, hey, we wanted to swim across the lake, which is about half a mile.
Uh-huh.
And so, I started, and then she and Margaret got too fast, so we got a kayak, and they'd get separated. And so then we got 2 kayaks, and then I called Phil White one day and asked him, I had not even heard of this crazy thing called open water swimming.
Uh-huh.
And then I saw it online and I called Phil, and I think Vera was around 10 years old, and he was crazy enough to say, yeah, come. And so we put her in the 1 mile, and then we just blossomed after that.
Wow.
She did the 2 mile that same year. And then Margaret, 1 or 2 years later, I can't remember, did
the 1
the
mile.
1 mile. And they both just have worked their way up through tons of events and having fun.
Great, great. So this is to the younger sister of Margaret. Tell me some of the swims that you've done.
Well, I've done a lot of swims, but just some of them. I've done the Border Buster in Kingdom Swim. That's 15 miles 2 times. I've also swam an 18-mile swim in Lake Massawippi. That was a double crossing.
Wow.
And I've done the new swim that was this year with Phil White. He called it the border bumper that we did with Charlotte Bryn.
Uh-huh. And what were some of your most enjoyable swims? The ones that you had most fun?
Well, I love all my swims because I love swimming so much. But if I had to choose just one to be my favorite, it would be my first Border Buster that I did.
Got it.
Because of all like the just being able to finish it for me was a great accomplishment and made me very happy.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember touching the shoreline and then walking up? Do you always remember that feeling?
Yeah, because I also remember it because I did it with John Batchelor, and it was really fun to swim with him because he does a lot of butterfly.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to watch, and
Yeah.
just being able to finish him was really fun.
Great, great.
Wow,
And
so successful.
yeah, when John was next to you, were you breathing and watching him, or were you leading him, or what was that? Was it a race?
Well, I did it for fun, and he was a lot faster than I was. I was just trying to keep up, really. But it was fun to watch, and at one point he did some freestyle, and it was something different, and I was like, it was just fun to watch and see all of it.
Yeah, yeah. And when you saw when you're not swimming and your sister is swimming, what do you do? What is your role when?
When my sister's swimming, I normally sometimes laugh at her or try to find different ways to pass her or things like that. But most of the time I'm like crew, like helping her out, getting feeds ready or something like that. Or
Yeah,
most of the time try and find ways to get faster than her.
yeah,
Like different technique that I'm like, oh, I could do that.
yeah, yeah. When you see your sister and you know she's getting ready for a feed, do you know instinctively what she wants, or do you and her ask each or confirm what you're going to eat or eat or drink?
Well, we only use like 2 things with flavors. One that's called UCAN and another one that's called Goo.
Uh-huh.
UCAN is like a powdery Gatorade, and Goo is a energy gel.
Uh-huh.
But normally we do like one Goo and water, or Goo and UCAN, or just UCAN. But we try. I like think about what I would want during that time in my swim, and I would give her that.
Got it.
Or sometimes during the feed before that, we would ask any preferences of what you would want.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And now to older sister Vera. For listeners who don't know all of your swims, can you give us just a sampling of what some of the swims that you've accomplished?
I have done few swims, which include I have completed In Search of Mercury, which is a 25-mile swim, the length of Lake Magog. I have also done Border Buster a few times. I've also completed 20 bridges, which is a 8.5-mile swim around Manhattan Island. And then I swam the English Channel on September 1st.
Yeah. And what were some of your most enjoyable swims?
I also love like every swim I do, but probably my most enjoyable swim was the English Channel because I had this like slot for almost more than 2 years, and just being able to even swim was super rewarding in the fact that I had trained so hard just to even get there, just to have the opportunity to swim with everything that's going on with the pandemic. Just to have that opportunity to even get in the channel was super special to me.
Yeah. When you went from London down to Dover and you're either in the car or train and you finally got to Dover, what were you thinking?
I was like, it almost didn't feel real because like I had dreamt about it for so long. It was like, this is really strange that it's real, but it is. And it felt very surreal in a way, but I was just really happy that I
Yeah. And then when you walk down to the beach and you're going on the rocks there, were you like, was your heart pumping a lot? Were you excited? Were you nervous?
A little mixture of everything. I was noticing all the things that's in like everyone's pictures that I see, and I was like, hey, look, I'm in the place that everyone's pictures are. I'm like, this really doesn't feel right at that point.
Yeah.
Really happy and excited there.
Yeah. And then now you get the day of your swim. Can you describe what happened? Did you get a call that night or early in the morning? Tell me exactly what happened on the day of the swim.
It was actually the day before we got a call saying that you need to be at the boat, which my boat was Rowena, at 8:30 in the morning, and we got there plenty of time to spare. Good. And then eventually we had to wait for the water to come in the little harbor in Folkestone, and then I ended up starting my swim it was 9:38 in the morning. And I started swimming.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now you walk into the ocean, walk into the channel, and you're taking the first few strokes. Did you feel comfortable? Were you swimming too fast because you were nervous? What was your first hour like?
My first hour, my thing was like I just need to start setting a pace, and like because I knew that if I set a strong pace in the beginning, then it would continue out for my swim because that's how I trained to do it. Like set a strong pace in the beginning. That way, I relied a lot on my training, which I knew I set a lot of effort and time and dedication into that. So that's where I kind of relied on my training for setting a pace.
Got it. And Mom, Darcie, what were you feeling when your daughter's just starting that first few strokes in that first hour?
My first thoughts were really relief that we got her there. I was just so happy because I really didn't see it happen, because with every like 2 months before, we really wouldn't have bet on that, us even going. So I was so proud of her. It was so many emotions at once. Proud but relief and exhaustion and like worry because I didn't. I'm hoping that everything's good, but there was so many things all at once.
Yeah. And then Margaret, when you're watching your sister in that first hour, are you thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to do this too," or "Oh, maybe not yet," or what were some of your thoughts?
Some of my thoughts were how I was so proud of my sister and how I look up to her so much, and how I would love to do that one day, because it's also one of my dreams and I want to do it. And I was so happy for her and just couldn't believe it was real because of how like sudden it was, about like how all of a sudden, hey, you're in a boat, you're going to see your sister swim the English Channel.
Yeah.
But I was super proud of my sister and just for even starting.
Great, great. Okay, so now you're in the first hour, the second hour, third hour. Everything's going smoothly?
Yeah, for the most
I think
part.
it depends who you ask.
Okay, okay. Well, we'll start. We'll start with Vera. Okay, the first half of the channel. Did you?
Going well. I was feeding about every 45 minutes. So I continued doing that, and I didn't have any problems as far as that.
Okay. And Mom, was there any
I feel
issues?
like Margaret and I were hanging on for dear life. Like it was a lot rougher than we
Okay.
thought. The boat was really rocking, and Vera was really happy because she likes the waves.
Yeah.
The captain was a little worried when we're starting, like the water was coming over this side a little bit,
Oh.
you know. But I mean, it was nothing dangerous, but he just, you know, and he didn't want it to get any worse, the conditions. And so we, you know, Margaret and I were a little nervous that, you know, just because the wind picked up a little bit. But Vera was happy as a clam in there. She didn't know any of that was going on.
Great. So it was rough, Vera. It was not. It was not glassy smooth, right?
No, it wasn't.
So
Yeah. Okay. So now you get in the shipping channel. You're halfway, and you're heading to France. Did you have any hiccups? Did you get cold? Did you get stung?
I actually was really lucky, and I saw jellyfish, a couple of them, but didn't get stung.
Mhm.
Low enough in the water. Very happy for that. But I didn't have any like hiccups as far as that. I just continued swimming. I just continued.
I think as it got dark, you were wondering like,
Yeah.
one time she asked, only one time, how much longer, and we don't answer that question.
Yeah.
And so I was surprised she asked that because
Okay.
she wasn't gonna answer that.
At that point where she asked how much further, and as the sun is setting, how much further did she have?
Margaret, do you remember? I
think it
I would say about 5 miles.
Okay,
To
so
go.
Yeah.
but you weren't worried that this was indication that she was thinking about getting out, right?
No, I really wasn't. There wasn't any point where I felt worried for her. We wouldn't really mess around with that too much if I thought there was,
Yeah.
you know, some issues with her health. Like she's too young to push it. She did a lot of training in some serious water in Memphremagog, and I on purpose we would take her out when it was rougher than she would ever swim in the channel.
Got it.
To make sure. So I don't feel like any point you were afraid or anything, were you, Vera? And it was very exciting. She saw 2 porpoise. Well, she swam with 2 porpoises.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
think, but Margaret and I saw them, so that was so exciting.
Yeah. Vera, how was your stroke per minute? Was it solid the whole way through?
It was about 65 strokes a
Okay.
minute.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
That's normal. So,
Yeah. So,
she had
so
a little bit.
yes. So you start at 9:30. You swim for about 14 hours, correct?
It was 14 hours and 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. So now, I mean, it's past midnight. You're not sleepy at all. You're not yawning. You're not. Are you just charging full board at France?
Well, I think it was still a lot, like 10 or so. And I think she finished, it was almost midnight. So,
Oh.
I mean, it felt like midnight.
It's like I think both girls are used to the late hours too. So
Okay.
But yeah, how did you feel, Vera?
I felt tired, but I felt like I could keep going at the same time. So it was okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of used to staying up kind of late just because with swimming in the pool, we don't get back till relatively late, and then I still
Got it. Got it. And Dad, Kevin,
Yep.
You're at home. You must be a nervous wreck.
I was definitely, since I was glued to the computer screen the whole day with
Uh-huh.
my phone in my hand, waiting for the next phone call or text from them to see, you know, an update of any kind.
Uh-huh.
Definitely completely nerve-wracking.
Yeah. What do you recall some of the texts or messages that you received as they're crossing the channel?
This is definitely a couple of photos that Darcie sent as they're going. This is and she always makes it look so beautiful. So she has a knack for that. Just as she even gets accused of being the photo mom in her kayak.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And so now, where did you land in France? What was it?
Wistant Beach.
Okay. Okay. So you because it's close to midnight, it's dark. Did they have a rib, a inflatable that went with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I always joke with Margaret, like, it's no fair. We never saw France. Like,
It was very hard to see because
Okay.
of how dark it was.
Okay. Margaret, did you get in on the rib with her going in, or did you jump in at any
I
time?
wanted to, but the rib was very tiny. I didn't want to be the person to be like tipping it over or anything like
Okay.
that, so I didn't end up getting in the rib.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So she lands, she swims back to the boat, and what were people feeling and saying as you're heading back to England?
Just like I was like super happy that everything had happened the way it did, and like super grateful that I just did everything that happened. And like I was exhausted. I didn't fall asleep for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's great. Now, and so now you get back to Dover, you're heading to your hotel. What time do you fall asleep? Or are you just answering all kinds of text messages and emails from your friends and fans and schoolmates and everybody?
We didn't get back to our like rental, I think, until around like 3:30 in the morning, and then we all took a shower and went.
I think it was like 5 in the morning or something.
Yeah, I think it was like 5 in the morning.
Oh, wow. Wow. And Kevin, you finally can rest your head on the bed and
I say that was definitely a long day. So it's definitely stressful for everybody. So
Yeah.
But when they were finally back at the apartment and I knew that they were safe, that was a huge relief.
yeah, that's great. Now, before you went over to England, you also did a big swim around Manhattan, which was a very special time. Can you tell us a little bit about that swim?
Yeah, definitely. It was on July 5th. I had the opportunity to swim 20 bridges. We found out actually a week before I swam. My mom got an email saying if you can get here, then you can swim. Because my family is my crew, so we didn't have to quarantine because we all lived with each other. And we were within driving distance. It's like 5 hours to get there. So we found out a week before. We got there, and the city was extremely bare. It was very strange. And then I swam, and yeah, just
Great.
everything was beautiful, and like we saw all these different things, like the Freedom Tower, Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Which is really beautiful.
Kevin, did you did you have opportunity to go on that one?
So I was there for that one. So it was definitely very strange that I was not on the crew, so I was there as a land support.
Got it.
We were definitely a quick turnaround on that particular trip. So I don't think we were in New York for much more than 36 hours total.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We had to definitely make arrangements to make everything work, but what an incredible opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Margaret, when you saw your sister again going around Manhattan, was that another one of your swims on your bucket list?
Yeah, it definitely is. Because it was nice to be able to see what I wanted to do one day, but see it in a different perspective where I could see all the different views of New York, like the Statue of Liberty or the Freedom Tower or just the different bridges. And then one time when Vera picks her head up randomly, like, hey, look it, there's a heart in the windows of that building. And that's like the only word she said during the swim. And we're like, wait, what?
Wow.
She picks her head up randomly, like we thought something was wrong, but she's
Oh,
like, nope,
okay.
there's a heart in that building.
Yeah. And Vera, coming down the Hudson, were you swimming fast with that current?
Yeah, definitely. I was lucky enough to do Fight and Dive, I think that's how you say it. It's a 10K swim down the Hudson a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I knew like what the push was gonna be. It was just really fun. It feels like you're getting shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, everybody, Kevin, Darcie, Vera, and Margaret, congratulations on a wonderful summer. I think you are role models of a swimming family, all very supportive of one another. And big sister is setting the pace, but little sister is coming up right behind. So I want to congratulate you and thank you very much for taking the time after your long day on the English Channel.
Thanks for asking.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.